I love this game. Hi, I'm Nels. I've researched games for 20 years. I make games, and sometimes, uh, normally I'm playing The Long Dark these days, but sometimes it's really nice to play an indie game, especially if it's a really beautiful indie game called Proteus. This is probably my favorite, like, maybe game of all time. Although, if you follow the stream, you know that I really love The Long Dark and think of it as art. This is a game that, in many ways, has inspired a lot of those thoughts about The Long Dark. If you're into the electronic music, or even if you're not, if you like procedural, like that is totally randomized landscapes and even randomized audio and strange, weird encounters in a space, this is a really cool, really fun game, and I think hugely underrated. This is one of those that I really would love for them to do some sort of remaster or remake, or maybe something just slightly different. But you're on a randomized island, so we can get started, but I love that even in the menu, which I'm kind of, moving this little cursor around on, you get these different sounds just by hovering over different things. And now we've got the island. The island's ready for us, though. I guess it's not immediately. It needs to be created, but every time you play this island that you can explore is completely different. One of the talks that I've really been fortunate enough to be able to give at a few different conferences like PAX Prime and Meaningful Play is looking at art. And I use different games every time to try and illustrate, like, not just that games are art, but like to talk about how specifically they are. And if I get a chance to give that talk again with some more updated stuff, I'm gonna use Proteus. It's probably also use The Long Dark. Like every one of these is making a little sound, adding to some of the music that might be like, more orchestrated. But those sounds go together so nicely. And this island is not going to be like any other island that we get. I didn't see that guy there at all. That's delightful. I don't know if it's a frog or some sort of magical blue rabbit. Now we've got two of them. Let's see if we can get them hopping together. I don't want them to hop too far away from each other. Just musically, this is so nice. I love it so much. Sometimes, I guess, I thought you could always kind of climb up these cliffs, no matter how steep they are, which is a nice change from some other games that I've been playing, where there's a certain tension to going up and down those cliffs. Here, you can just kind of chill and wander. Let's see. I'm always torn on whether to use, because there's actually a Twitch tag here for Proteus, but for whatever reason, I think it's harder to find using that. Like, it doesn't connect to as much stuff, so I'm always tempted to use like ASMR. Some of those little crumbling ruins things will teleport you to different parts of the island. So where are we? I think it starts us off in fall, and like a slight spoiler, I've had folks ask like, what is the point of this game? You're just walking around. And like, that was at a time where walking simulator was not a known genre. In many ways, I don't know if this created the genre, but it's definitely something that a lot of the folks who make games in that vein of just sort of chilling and walking around reference this game. And yet it's so lost. Like, there are so many people who these days have just never heard of this. Which, to me, I think is a shame. This is one of those games I would love for more people to know about. And like, the clouds are coming in. And the sun must be going down, I think. Yeah. Maybe already did. Nope, there's either the last little bit, so that's the moon. I'm gonna have a sip of water. And I'm actually gonna see what happens if we switch this from Proteus to ASMR. What happens? It's trying to give us permadeath and hard mode and challenge run tags for ASMR. I wonder if maybe OBS didn't log this stuff quite as well as it could have. Pixel art. Oh, neat. So we can see some stars off in the background, just forming underneath the clouds. Let's turn around though, and see what else we can see in the nighttime. Because as everything changes, in terms of the seasons and the graphics, so too does the audio. And give me one moment to just adjust something here. That I would turn off some cameras, but I left some other stuff, some other streaming stuff on, so I just went and unhooked that, and it's making my my eye strain a lot less intense. Hey, there's the moon. I don't think we're gonna walk up and try to use this rune to teleport. Ooh, little fireflies or will-o'-the-wisps. Nice. Oh, there's a really large tree over here. Part of the fun in this game is just wandering a little bit aimlessly and finding something you've never seen before. Because so much of it is procedural, it's entirely possible that there are bits and pieces that you'll miss as you go through. But this tree is much larger than some others, and spoilers, as the seasons change, there's an interesting sort of visual narrative that you get with this tree, and really interesting auditory narratives that you get, as every little place has some kind of different sound. It's really, really fun. And I think really beautiful. And if we're talking about how specifically games can be art, beauty is one of those fallbacks, and there's so many different ways that you can find that visually, with sound, with game design. And I really think that this game, Proteus, captures all of those. So we just wandered through something that might be just a little graveyard. But one of the really wonderful things about this being pixel art is that so much of pixel art is interpretive. It's simple enough that, you know, there's stuff that's obviously being communicated. Oh, an owl. There's stuff that's being communicated, but you can sometimes make up your own mind about what you're going to take from that. I keep seeing this owl farther and farther away. What the heck was that? We must have walked up to some chickens or something. Occasionally there are little animals that wander around. I wonder if... Oh, we've got this little rabbit here. And just the way the ambient sounds mix with the music, mix with these sounds that you get just randomly placed in the environment, creates these just auditory situations that you don't really get in a lot of games. And here we've found a kind of fairy ring situation, and it's speeding up time. Let's see if we can get some shooting stars and then slow down time once those start to go. I just step back outside. But it's kind of hard to do, and I don't think that there's those shooting stars every single time. Let's fast forward from spring to summer. Looking at the sun, it's kind of an intense glare. Where was that big tree? I kind of lost track. Oh, there's a little house over there. This must be what we walked by. And these poor chickens were chasing them around. Oh. The rabbit is now white and seems to be supercharged. Whoa. Not this guy, though. Whoa. That's cool. I don't want to get too distracted. I wanted to check out this house. Ooh. It's got its own theme. That's cool. There's little sounds for the chickens pecking. I don't know that I knew that. Like, there's so much variance to this game that every time I play it, I feel like there's something new, auditorially, gameplay-wise, art-wise. Something I see for the first time. Man, and the sounds were so chill by that house that as soon as we walk away, like it starts to go a little bit more haywire. And that's part of summer, and we're going so fast. Cool. Oh, there's the big tree. Kinda wanna go visit the ruins and go somewhere else, but I also want to chase both of these guys at once. That was kind of hard to resist. Ooh, and the sun's going down. Cool. Oh, that's a big stump. Or something. And it's like what I was saying earlier, like, it's pixel art, so you kind of get to decide what it is that you take from that. Oh, squirrel. What am I hearing? It's like making the cymbal crash. That's cool. And the sun's changing color as it goes down. That's pretty neat. Oh, it's another squirrel. Can we chase it up the big tree? Go up the big tree. That was cool. What am I hearing? Nefarious squirrel chaser. And rabbit harasser. Or frogs? I don't know if they're rabbits or frogs exactly. They can be whatever we want them to be on this particular playthrough. It's the imagination of pixel art. It's neat. Could be a tide pool, it could be a little lake. That's nice. Is that where the statues were, or is that just a lone monolith? Let's go see. These colors too. That's funny. I don't think I've ever seen like clouds move that quickly, but that must be our perspective changing as we go up and down. Kind of feel like turning my camera back on. I want to see what my face is doing later. Like, I think I'm just grinning. I like this theme in Proteus. Take a sip of water. There's the owl still. Oh, and we're so close to the fairy circle. And that's just what I call it, the circle of lights that changes the seasons. Call it what you will. Oh, neat. Sometimes I rush through spring and summer to get to the falling leaves and the fall colors, but there's so much that's designed into like each of these seasons. And the rest of the music is just so chill. I like this sound. We'll leave that guy alone for now. There's another magic rabbit bunny thing right here. Oh, neat, we're getting the shooting stars. I wanted to try to find those earlier, but we're getting them just... I'd forgotten that they showed up in summer, I guess. The music is so nice. Whoa. Is that a bat? The heck? What is that? I don't think I knew there was a bat. Oh, it sounds like a bat. That's cool. There it is, something I've definitely never seen before in this game, is like a bat flying around. Oh my gosh, there's a few. I feel like this should be a more terrifying situation. Bats in summer. I wonder if they live around the house. I should have paid more attention to where the little monoliths are. Maybe over that way? Maybe we'll see him again in fall. Maybe it's that you get more intense star showers when you're in the spring. Maybe you get them in the fall too. This is one of those games that's easy to play once and then sort of leave for, I don't know, a few months or a few years, and then just kind of come back to. It's maybe almost 10 years old. Do these guys have a little theme, these mushrooms? That's cool. Oh, it's raining and cloudy. The clouds are kind of blocking up some of these hills here. Or mountains. I don't know. Hey, there's the sunshine. It's interesting how it moves as we... I feel like this island has been given a skybox that's a little bit more like transparent, like it's a little more signposted, and the fact that it's slightly to the side is giving us these weird visuals where like I can look left to the right, and the sun mirrors that in an interesting way. Wow. Sometimes I hit these little music changes and sound changes, and they're so pretty that I just don't want to move. Like, is this a solitary grave marker? Like, is it these bushes up here? This is something I haven't seen before as well, like, or heard before, rather. That's really cool. Just gonna have a sip of water and listen to this. That's so pretty. Farewell, super nice sounds to the setting sun. This game was in a large part inspired by the naturalist John Muir. And is really about trying to capture that idea of finding something new in nature every time you go into nature. I was really hoping to find those little monolithic guys that were up a mountain here or there, but I lost track of them. That's okay, we've seen things in this playthrough that I've never seen in playing this game a few times, so I don't feel too bad about it, but I don't think those are them. I am gonna head to the big tree. The fall is by far my favorite season, especially when the sun's just gone down and the moon's starting to come up. There's just so much like visual and auditory and gameplay narrative that kind of comes out in ways you still don't see in games, and this game is almost 10 years old. Once it's nighttime. Hey, what's up, Melky? Have you ever played Proteus? This is an absolutely gorgeous game about wandering through the seasons. So we haven't yet gotten to that familiar one, the wintry long dark. It's, especially if you like electronic music. Oh, hey. and sort of a chill sort of ASMR vibe. It's really, really lovely. I like too the pixel art because you can infer what you want from some of the different graphics, and like, so to me this might not be the same to anyone else, but this seems like a graveyard, and in this season in the fall someone has left flowers here, which they're not here in the spring and the summer that I've seen. What is that? That's interesting. And the owl is still with us? Somewhere. I saw the owl a lot more in the spring. Oh. Okay. But it's all procedural, so there are a lot of the same things that can pop up on this island, but it's randomly generated every time, so every playthrough you get a slightly different experience. And there's just so much that you can trigger as you're walking through to get a different auditory experience. Like, what is that? That must be what we were inside of. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. Okay. So maybe there's another... Maybe I need to follow these little bubbles of light. Or is it just gonna have me walking back and forth? I'm just gonna keep wandering. This is really one of those games, though, that, like, when I think about games and art, I keep coming back to. This big tree has really interesting, like, visual narratives. But I must not be... Oh, there's like a little fox that pops up and then hides. I was gonna try and find... Let's actually try and see if we can get an aurora. Sometimes you get one that is almost like a pixelated long dark aurora. But yeah, this might take the #1 spot away from Long Dark for favorite game, just because it's like one of those games you can keep coming back to, in the same way people talk about having like a book that you read like once when you're 20 and once when you're 30 and so on, like 40 and 50. Like, I can come back to this and get something new from it like almost every time. It's like, from a game design perspective too, like, it's doing a lot of these simple things where, like, those are gameplay assets that you see elsewhere, but they're all getting reused to create like this, like, just really elegant sense of like magic in this world. And it's weird, like I said, every time it's a little different. Like, this playthrough hasn't been behaving like in any way like I expected to. Which is kind of amazing to like have played a game a bunch and think you know what to expect, but you get something totally different. Oh, time was still in fast forward. There was an aurora that we just missed. That's what you get for playing with time. Oh, oh. Cool. There's I call it the fairy ring, but it's pixel art. There's a ring of stones that you find, and it changes the seasons forward, which is a little bit of a spoiler. Like, when this game first came out, and I was telling a lot of my game designer friends, like, you gotta play this, they would like walk around and say, like, well, what's the point? There's no game mechanic. It was back when people actually made that argument, like, this is a game or this is not a game. Like, which is something that we've kind of quashed now. But there wasn't necessarily the same sort of understanding or acceptance of having something called like a walking simulator. So people's like patience for just like entering an experience and wandering around to kind of try and figure out what was going on was really low. But I feel like that's less the case now, that there's more like, I don't know, a willingness to play with worlds that are a little bit weird and a little bit different. So hopefully that's not a huge spoiler, that you can wander and find the fairy circle. But, it's pixel art, so to you it might not be a fairy circle. It might be something altogether different. I just really wanted to visit with the aurora in this playthrough. Take a sip of water. Yeah, Mel, like I said, this is something, like, where there's a time and a place to just play it on your own when you're feeling a certain way, and just kind of see where the experience takes you. But I hope I get more chances to share it on streams, because I feel like it's the kind of thing that probably won't get like a 10-year remaster, and like probably deserves to get played more than it does get played. It'd be really cool if they made console editions of it too. Like, I've looked, but I think you'd have to emulate something. It was initially going to be like something akin to an Elder Scrolls RPG is what they were hoping to develop. And at some point they decided to change it to like a wandering around in nature game. It's cool. You can get a sense of where certain things are to go visit them, in later seasons. and I won't spoil it, but like the game does have an ending, and I think it might be one of my. I'm biased because I like this game, but it might be one of my favorite game endings. It's funny too, like the sound, like the music. Sometimes it really works because it's such a mix of procedural music and orchestrated stuff, and then sounds that you trigger in the environment. Like, that's kind of cool and kind of trippy. But there was a moment where, like, I found a sound I'd never heard in this game before. And I just stood there for a while because it was just so pretty. I just kind of want to hear this, like some of it, just as soon as I said that, started to fade out. And sorry if I'm really quiet sometimes, like I don't want to spoil some of the sounds with my with my narration. That's why it might be an okay streaming game, and then it might be one that like is sometimes just fun to play. And yeah, so we're floating. And after going through spring, summer, and fall, and now winter, we're just gonna keep floating into the clouds that sort of seem to part in little fluffy balls as we float. Oh, and the aurora is back. That's cool. I'm not sure I've seen the aurora in the wintertime. But we're here next to our big tree. It's kind of popping out through the clouds. And shooting stars, that's cool. This is a nice send-off. Sometimes you just float up into the sky. This is what you really need to play after a few hours of Interloper. If you really need to chill out a little bit. I'm gonna have another sip of water. Yeah, about when this came out, you saw the release of a bunch of now pretty well-known games, like in that walking simulator genre, like Dear Esther. This and Dear Esther and other games that make a lot of use of text have been really inspirational for me. I saw a lot of cool Twine games too. And yeah. That's how Proteus ends. So we have played through a game. And look, it's tempting us with another island that we could go and explore. But I think next I'm probably going to fire up a little bit of my No One Gets Out Alive mapping game, which is sort of somewhere in coastal